Long ago, before hospitals, before modern education, and before people understood sickness the way we do today, many African villages lived strictly by tradition. The elders protected the customs of the land. The forests were believed to hold powerful spirits. And the gods were feared more than anything else. Life was simple, but it was also filled with mystery. Whenever something strange happened, people believed it had a spiritual meaning. If the rain stopped falling, the gods were angry. If sickness spread through the village, someone must have offended the spirits. And if a child was born different, many believed it was a sign of a curse. This was how the idea of the outcast slowly began. Not because some people were truly different, but because people did not understand what they were seeing. In those days, when a child suddenly fell to the ground shaking uncontrollably, the villagers became terrified. Today we know this illness as epilepsy. But many years ago, people did not understand seizures. They believed the child was possessed by spirits or cursed by unseen forces. Another child might be born healthy but then fall sick again and again, suffering from constant pain and weakness. Today, science tells us this condition is sickle cell disease. But in ancient villages, people had no explanation. To them, such suffering looked like a punishment from the gods. Fear began to spread through the community. And when fear takes control, compassion sometimes disappears. When these things happened, the elders of the village would gather beneath the oldest tree in the village square. They would whisper among themselves. And then they would make a decision that could change a family's life forever. The child, and sometimes the mother, would be declared cursed. Once that decision was made, there was no argument. The woman and her child would be taken away from the village and left in the evil forest. The evil forest was believed to belong to spirits. No one lived there. No one was expected to survive there. The villagers believed that if the gods wanted the cursed people to live, the forest would spare them. If not, the forest would claim them. Many mothers walked into that forest with tears in their eyes, carrying children who did not understand why they were leaving home. But sometimes, something unexpected happened. Some of the people abandoned in the forest did not die. They survived. They found water in small streams. They gathered fruits and roots. And slowly, they discovered something powerful. They discovered each other. Another rejected mother. Another abandoned child. Another person banished from the village. Over time, small communities began to form deep inside the forest. Communities made up of people who had been rejected by society. These communities became known as the communities of the outcast. But sickness was not the only way people became outcast. Sometimes fate alone decided a person's destiny. There were stories of pregnant women traveling to farms or markets who suddenly went into labor before reaching home. With no one around to help them, some women gave birth beneath trees or near shrines believed to belong to the gods. In some traditions, giving birth in such places was seen as an abomination. When the villagers heard about it, they believed the child belonged to the gods. The woman and her baby could be driven away from the village. Just like that, a family could lose their place in society. Other times, people became outcasts through banishment. If someone committed a serious offense against tradition, they could be expelled from the village forever. They were forbidden to return. Many of these banished people eventually found their way to the same forest communities. Over many generations, the separation between freeborn people and outcasts grew deeper. Outcasts could not marry freeborn people. They could not eat with them. They could not sit with them in village gatherings. Even love became dangerous. If a freeborn person fell in love with someone from an outcast family, they would also be declared an outcast. Families broke apart. Hearts were broken. And the division continued for generations. But as time passed, knowledge began to grow. Science helped people understand many of the illnesses that once caused fear. People began to realize that sickness was not a curse. Children were not possessed by spirits. And no one was born to be rejected. Slowly, many societies began to abandon the practice of labeling people as outcasts. Governments began to speak against discrimination. Because the truth became clear. Every human being deserves dignity. Every human being deserves respect. No one should be rejected because of sickness, birth circumstances, or old traditions built on misunderstanding. The story of the outcast teaches us a powerful lesson. Ignorance can create deep suffering. But knowledge can bring healing. And in the end, the truth remains simple. No one is born an outcast. We are all human.